Hello everybody out there in the internet world, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review. This is episode 348, which means only two more episodes. Two. Can you count that? Two.
Yep.
It's the dancing two also. See? Dancing.
And you talk about me
Two
finding
more
weird pictures. Well, where'd you get
dancing. Only two more episodes until we move over to Comic Frontline. And
Yes.
truly, next week will be one episode, and then by the end of next week, no more episodes. So next week will be the final Dark Avenger comic book review on this channel.
Wow.
Because 350 we are starting over on Frontline. Unless I double upload it and upload 350 here so that it ends on an even note, and start on 350 on Frontline so that it begins on an even note as well. I don't know.
We'll think of something. But anyway, we got a few books actually.
Yeah, and the books were released on which date?
That would be June 29, 2016, the last week of June.
And we actually have other books coming to us again ever since we did that review a couple of weeks ago.
That one. Okay, so
We have from them, and we also have another one, like I told you, the other one.
I know you told me about that. All right.
But till then, we are doing this week's book, and it was a light week this week because it was the 5th Wednesday of the month.
Yes.
So we literally only have 3 physical and a bit actually of digital. And
Yeah,
Michael's going to be doing all the indies this week for the digital.
Yeah.
I do have
For the first time,
indie.
I believe I'm going first. This is like, wow.
Well, I do have one indie book, but it's a physical book.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to start off with Lobster Johnson, issue number 2 of 3. This is Metal Monsters of Midtown. And apparently, like what we saw from the last issue, I thought that in that last issue he was caught by a robot or something. But apparently, he was actually under an investigation, which led into something that's going on in the underwater, where he found out like there was a weird creature that was in the underwater, like with those big googly eyes or something like that. I forgot what it was called, but it was like a huge investigation what he was finding. So what he had to do was that he went to his wife that could give sources about why, about his husband's condition. And we find out more about it. I'm not going to go into detail because it took up basically almost the whole entire book. So what he wants to do is that he's going to stay there to owe it to her that nothing bad happens. But long and behold, there's the big robot outside that crashes into the window. To be continued. So it was a moderate read. It was okay. Wasn't that bad, really. The Spirit, issue number 12. The showdown between the Spirit and Maddendox? If that was the name, of Middendox or something like that. Well, basically, before we get into that battle, we found out about this this girl who is the daughter of Maddendox, where she was treated. Where she was treated like a very nice person, but then her father went away and lived with the maiden, the nanny, because her mother passed away. And the way he treated her was like really like garbage, which changed her ways a little bit, that she backfired on him and then went over him, like not to be bossed around or anything, because her father comes back from being a fireman and all that other stuff, which does play into this story. So you can find out more of that when you read the book. So we go into the showdown, and it was like a huge showdown between the Spirit and Maddendox. And thanks to that guy who came in, I forgot what his name was. It's Ebony's partner, who came in with Boulder, the big guy, and he just knocked him out one by one. And then after that, we find out more information about where they could find Maddendox. And he's not alone. There's other people that are going to help the Spirit. So that's really good. Ghostbusters International, issue number 6. This book I reviewed on Comic Frontline, actually. And this was a really great book. It just talks about, we move away from the Ghostbusters, and it talks about the point of view of Egon, Ortiz, and Kylie. Okay. And what they're looking for is this ghost that possessed, or that actually scared Miguel. And he talks about a story about how they encountered with this ghost. It's a weeping ghost called La Lorna, which is what Egon talks about in this book. So they're in Puerto Rico, by the way. These guys. San Joe and Puerto Rico, I think. And they go after this ghost. Kylie really gets it when she encounters with this ghost, like twice. Oh, and Walter Peck comes in this book.
Of course he does. He always.
I hate him so much. And he's like saying, get the Ghostbusters on the phone. And then he talks to Venkman saying, I want you guys to stay there because I'm coming. So just don't move and don't do anything. Lord knows what he's going to do when he gets there. But that was just like a little bit there. So they capture the ghosts. Everything turns out to be okay. And then there's this other girl who wants to join the Ghostbusters, which we'll find out in the next issue. I believe in Ireland. Was it? Yeah, in Ireland. But I really enjoyed this book. Satan's Hollow issue number 4 of 6. The Mysterious Mysteries of the Cave, where Sandra, I remembered her name this time, where Sandra actually encounters with a Shadow Man. And the Shadow Man, like, does all these possessions of saying, like, oh, you don't belong in here, because there's been another disappearance of this little girl, and Sandra wants to find out more information. This one guy who they have suspicions of, that hooded guy, oh, I knew I was going to forget someone's name. Hoodie, I'll call him that. The policemen, they find him, and they ask him questions because they think that he's part of the whole thing. And it's just really all about the tunnel.
And Hoodie.
And Hoodie. So we'll find out what happens next in this issue. I don't want to give too much away because I want you guys to really read it. I'm really enjoying this book, Satan's Hollow, because it's very supernaturalistic. And yeah, with Hoodie, I'm going to be so when I forgot his name. Bloodshot Reborn, issue number 14. Now, in this one, it's not a new story arc. Like, I thought it was a new story arc, but it's actually where Bloodshot once again meets another Bloodshot. And there's not, on this little island, because Bloodsquirt's there, and it's not just him, there are other Bloodshots on the island. So, what they're doing is that, because Bloodshot's looking for magic, they're telling him that there's this angel-like demon who is attacking the island with all these thunderbolts and everything, and Bloodshot's trying to attack her. I have a funny feeling that it was magic, but it really wasn't. Because he's looking for her, because they got together and everything. But this book was like really intense, so I can't wait to see what happens more in the next issue. Exo Manowar issue number 47. This is the story arc of Long Live the King, and this is countdown to issue number 50, which will be the halfway point to issue 100. And this book, this is my book of the week, by the way, flat out. It's Commander Trill and Exo Manowar find these things, and we don't know who they are, but I'm going to call them destroyers because that's what they're known to do. And as Commander Trill tries to attack them, I review some Frontline also, they don't flinch or anything. And then he just goes away like saying, oh, I'm done, I refuse and everything. So what a team player he was. So Exo tries to attack them to see what their weakness is. And he seems to find no weaknesses of anything whatsoever. And as he's trying to evacuate the people from there so that way no one gets hurt, he's trying every which way to do that. And he says, Lay Colonel, I think that this is going to be where we give up and give in because we don't know who they are and what their purpose of coming to the island was. Or to Arak's land. So we're going to find on the next issue what happens. And I hope it comes out sooner because I'm itching to find out what happens next. And book of the week for me. And now we're going into the big two. Going with you.
I think that's my only DC book, correct? Yeah, because then we go into Marvel.
Yeah, I believe so.
My only DC book this week goes to The Dark Knight 3. The Master Race issue number 5 or volume 5, however you want to call it.
It says book 5.
Book 5, fine. I love this issue. Now, I thought Superman was down and out after the last issue. He was put into that black matter and he sunk into the ocean with his Fortress of Solitude. He melted away. This issue, you have Batman running from all of Gotham, who basically want to find him because they don't want to be destroyed by all the Kryptonians who threatened they were going to destroy Gotham if they couldn't find Batman. And all this while you have Kara Kelly, who I guess is the new Batwoman or Batgirl, and she's teaming up with Aquaman, and they find Superman in the Arctic. It's 2 days later. And Batman gave her the means to free Superman from the black matter, and she does. And for Superman, it felt like centuries, but obviously in reality, it was just 2 days. I love the part where Carrie Kelly said, "So what now? What are we going to do?" And he's like, "I had a lot of time to search my soul, and I've come to a conclusion." She's like, "Well, and then he basically says, "You ready to save the world?" And that's where it's left off. And then you got Batman, who finally comes out because the time's up. And the Kryptonians are about to attack. And then out of nowhere, he makes synthetic kryptonite rain. Spoiler alert. And all the Kryptonians fall from the sky. Laura is gone. Laura ends up leaving with some other guy. That leads into the side story. And I hate Laura, by the way. I'm sorry. I know she's Superman's daughter in this universe. I hope she gets what's coming to her by the end of this series, though. And I really would love to get the Dark Knight, too, because I think she was in that one as well. But Batman comes out in his armored suit again, which looked really awesome. And he's fighting the Kryptonians, but then he gets knocked down. But then, lo and behold, behind him, the biggest spoiler and the best splash page I've seen in a bit, Superman shows up in his own iron suit to protect him from the synthetic kryptonite. And he's like, "I got you back." And then what happened with Barry in the issue was really hard also because his legs were destroyed beyond repair. So Batman found a way to have him still serve as the Flash. If you want to know that, read the book. The side story was all about Laura this time and this other Kryptonian Baal, B-A-L-L, or Baal. I'm probably spelling it wrong.
That's Baal.
That's Baal. Yeah, no. It's spelled something else. I know that's B-A-L-L. Something else. It was spelled something else. But he thinks that he has his own perverted way of thinking about humans and stuff like that. And she doesn't like the way he treats humans. But in the end, it's kind of like one of those things where I hate you, and then they make out in the end.
Oh, you gotta love that part of the story.
Yeah, but he's the bad guy, and basically, in the end, she looks even eviler than she did before. And one thing I hate about Laura, she thinks she's above humans, and she's never set foot on the Earth. She's always hovered. If you see her in the book, you'll always see her hovering above the ground. She never stands on the planet.
So what, is she allergic to the planet or something?
She won't do it. I guess she believes she's above everything.
I guess
Symbolism,
so.
my friend. Symbolism.
Alright, so you
Yep.
want to do that one?
All New, All Different Avengers, issue number 11. They are the prisoners to Annihilus. And this issue is all about how they freed themselves from Annihilus. And then also Iron Man figures out that the way Annihilus is getting all these people to join his army, like where he's getting them from, he has a wristband that he got from Captain Marvel, the old Captain Marvel. So the job there was to get the wristband away from Annihilus before they escaped. They get the wristband, they escape. However, one Avenger is left behind. And it's to be concluded next time. So issue 12 we'll find out, what happens next. Spoiler alert, the Avenger that was left behind was Spider-Man. Miles Spider-Man.
What?
Annihilus caught him and pulled him back before he could escape.
I wouldn't believe you. Really? Wow.
It's going to be very interesting to see what happens next.
Are you sure this isn't connected to the
Not yet.
End of Day, whatever?
No.
What's it called?
No.
The one where it was Spider-Man dying days? I don't remember. Alright, I'll say it.
Captain Marvel, issue number what?
6.
Issue number 6.
The Civil War 2 tie-in.
Yep. So they're cleaning up from the first story arc. So basically they're fixing the station and putting it back in print proper order. Cody Rhodes shows up for a bit, aka War Machine. Her and Captain Carol have their moment. And then there's this big meeting where everybody's kind of upset that what happened. How could you guys do that? Let's figure out a way that this won't happen again. This other jerk guy wants her to be the best of the best, or else she should consider quitting. And then Ulysses gets mentioned, and that's why this is a Civil War tie-in.
Civil War 2 tie-in.
2 tie-in, because they mentioned Ulysses and being able to see the future, because they talk about an event that happened in Civil War issue 1.
Ulysses is going to play a big part in Civil War 2, I can see already.
You think? He's the whole point of the war.
That's what I'm saying.
And this takes place between issue 1 and 2, I guess you could say. And what happens is Carol is like, we don't need Ulysses, we could deal with things on our own. She basically is siding with Iron Man that we don't know if we continue to tamper with knowing the future, if it might have a negative effect on the outcomes of the future. But then something happens. I forgot what her name was, but she's one of Carol's villains, who's a Kree. She goes in and she basically destroys an entire town. She basically uses humans as lab rats, and she kills an entire town's worth of people, and that's what kind of pushes Carol over the edge to the point where she says, "We can't wait to figure out where Minerva went. We need to know now. We need to contact the Inhumans. Get me Ulysses." I was like, oh, so this is what began the whole Carol and Ulysses team up. So
well, that makes
it's
sense
interesting,
now.
yeah.
Alright, and last book for you is
Venom Space Knight, issue number
9.
I'm sorry, I don't memorize numbers too well when I'm looking at a tiny itty bitty screen. This was the best issue of Venom because we get inside. We get inside Venom's head. Now Flash is trapped inside of Venom. And Venom is trying to wear him down like he did to Eddie Brock, like he did to Spider-Man, to make them believe, they needed the symbiote. That the symbiote, basically so the symbiote could take control. And we see Flash growing up from a kid that was beaten by his dad to a bully of Peter Parker, to the army, to his drinking problems when he lost his legs. And in every dark corner, there's a Venom. Venom is there. Venom is the bottle he's drinking. Venom's the father when he's a kid, and Venom actually becomes he's giving Peter Parker a swirly. Venom becomes
so basically
the water.
Venom's like in the story.
Right, he puts himself into the story.
Wow.
And then we got Flash fighting back finally, and in reality though, Venom's fighting all of Flash's friends who are trapped on the planet with Venom now. And they're fighting Venom to try to save Flash. The other girl who's part of the Guardians of the Universe, she's waiting, to give Flash a chance to break free of Venom. And inside, finally, Flash comes face to face with his mom. Ooh. And it's there where finally he's able to take control of himself long enough to have Venom able to be taken down. And what happens is his friends don't kill Venom. They contain him, and basically they're going back now to the Clicktar to see if they can fix Venom once and for all, to fix the symbiote once and for all. However, Flash mentions there being a light, like a missing piece. Remember last volume when Flash shared the symbiote with a girl?
Uh-oh. Don't tell me.
The symbiote is on Earth. So a piece of the Venom symbiote is still on Earth. And it looks like it's getting to the point where it's kind of turning the girl dark.
Oh, great.
I'm excited if they bring this back, and if they're going to take the symbiote away from the girl, if they're not going to take it away, if they're going to cleanse her, that's going to be interesting.
Wow. That's going to be something. Alright, now it's my turn. All Marvel books for this week.
This was a Marvel-centric week. DC didn't do Rebirth. They did a few annuals. Yeah. I read Grayson's annual, which was basically 5 stories from 5 different characters in the DC universe. Each one that came into contact with Dick, Agent 47. It was all right. It wasn't. That's why I didn't review it. It was not something really. We're gonna get Nightwing this coming month. I'm waiting for that.
Okay. So Darth Vader issue number 22. I am so glad that this is only 3 more issues left until we conclude this, because I did not like this book at all this week. This was very boring. It first talks a little bit about Dr. Aphra. They go back to her, and then 000 with his whole still, I still have my robots, and you have to do as I say and follow my orders, or this or that will happen. But then it goes to the focal point of Darth Vader, where he's put into this room to fight the assimilations of these illusions, so to say. And that's what really the whole thing was about. Like, he's like saying, I could use the Force, because they didn't want him to use the Force with the I just said it, the illusion thing. So he gets mad at one of the women that told him about it, and then there's just like a whole bunch of other boring stuff that I don't feel should have been in this comic book. I'm like, what am I reading? Why? I'm going just 3 issues, just to finish it. That's it. Because I did read it since issue 1. I don't remember why the story's going downhill all of a sudden. But yeah. Spider-Man Deadpool, issue number 6. Now this was a fun read. And the reason why I say it was a fun read is because this is all about Deadpool's movie, but this was like, yeah, but this was like in the making where this guy, like, they go on the set and Deadpool wants Spider-Man to be the producer of his movie. So he's like saying, okay, I'll do that. Why not? So when he was called in, this other guy who plays Deadpool, they didn't say Ryan Reynolds. His name was Donald Reynolds or something like that, just to not, use that copyright name. And he's like saying, "Oh, I should show my butt more because I've been doing butt squats and all this other stuff." It was like really, no, seriously, it was like really funny because that was the whole point of to see that in the movie. And then this thing that encounters with Deadpool in the beginning, he shows up on set and he wants to kill Deadpool in real life, and he almost does that. But luckily that Spider-Man was there. We find out that the person that was after Deadpool is the actor who was playing as Deadpool, Donald.
Why?
Because he was like saying that he didn't want the real Deadpool to be in the movie, so he wanted to be better than Deadpool or something like that. It was like, it was funny though, this whole thing, and I really liked this. There was a bunch of other stuff, but I left it out because I want them to read it. This was a great book. I really found it was fun reading this week. Silk issue number 9. The continuation of Silk working with Black Cat. Now, I didn't know if they saw it more because it went off. So, what I'm getting, does Silk really want to work for Black Cat? Because
I don't think so.
Yeah, because in the Thought Bubble dialogue, it's like saying, oh, don't say yes to work with her. And then she's like saying yes just to fit in. But you're not liking working with Black Cat. But in your outside, you're saying you do want to. It's like a whole decision-making thing that she fights over herself about. So they just do their own robbery thing, and she's like saying, oh, but you got in and all that. But what she doesn't know, that was the evil Cindy, the one with the whole Spider-Woman Omega thing that got in. So she's talking as the person as evil Cindy, but she's not the evil one. She's just claiming that she did it, but her evil clone did it. So she's just pretending everything, oh, I know this is happening, and it was like really something else. So she talks with, I believe, Mockingbird. I don't know if it's right, saying about Black Cat, and she hears it. So the next issue, there could be a showdown between Silk and Black Cat. After hearing that. I think it was Mockingbird. I hope I'm right. And this to be continued. So tensions will rise in the next issue. And finally, we concluded with Hyperion, issue number 4. Now, Hyperion we saw was with the whole worm thing, which was kind of a little bit graphic, so to say. And the girl is at the place where she doesn't want to be. And she's dressed as a clown and everything, and they're making her do all these stupid things, and then she encounters with the guy who's the worm control and everything, and she sees Hyperion's in trouble, and she tries to save him all the best she could. Sooner than we knew, he snaps out of it, Hyperion, and he just takes him out, just like that. And every time I look at Hyperion, he reminds me of Superman in a way. Like he I'm not trying to say he is. I'm like saying his modeling reminds me of Superman. Of trying to bring everything to justice, not to kill, and all this other stuff. But there was a bunch of other stuff that happened. I don't want to drag too much about this book, but it was really good. I would definitely say pick this up.
Alright, we're going into physical books, and ironically, all 3 of our physical books, yes, there's only 3, are issue number 5s.
Yes, and I'm going to start off with mine, the only one of Street Fighter X G.I. issue number 5. We're at the issue where we're at the finals. Jinx from Street Fighter versus Bison. Oh wait, Jinx from G.I. Joe versus Bison from Street Fighter. I don't know how I got that wrong, but yeah. And this was another book I reviewed for Frontline. Also, Sonic the Hedgehog, issue 283, came out this week. And I'll be in the review in...
Next week.
Next week? Yeah. So, that's another book I did for Frontline as well. So I really love the artwork in this book. Like I wanted to show where this happened. Basically, when Jinx fought Bison, she went towards the evil Akuma-like person, and basically, evil Jinx defeated Bison mercilessly.
Mercilessly.
Yeah, like about to kill him or everything. So Ryu is there just to calm her down, and everything gets settled down there. And then God talks trash a little bit about Rufus, and then Rufus like saying, "I'm the best. I want to fight you and get the third place spot and everything." And there's also something that happens with Crimson Viper, but that you could definitely read to find out. So they fight Guile and Rufus, and well, lo and behold, not less than 2 seconds, Rufus gets beaten by God with his super kick, and then that was it. And then we see that Rufus has the Akuma thing going on, so I'm like, what is this now? Like, everybody has this? The Shadaloo, I think it's called? I'm not really too sure, but, well, if you all thought that this was the last issue, apparently it isn't. Because there's going to be an issue 6 of Street Fighter X G.I. Joe. And it seems like they're going to be going after Rufus. I don't know. But Jinx won the tournament fair and square, so really great book.
Bebop and Rocksteady, Destroy Everything, issue 5 of 5. Oh dear God, thank you, it's over. The headache is officially over. No Tylenol needed this time. No medication, no anything. So, it's over. The Turtles and Monette team up to find a way to stop Bebop and Rocksteady as they're traveling through the time stream. They end up taking away the scepter and writing in many, many wordful pages, writing all the wrong that was done by Bebop and Rocksteady, and slowly the timeline falls back into place, which we find out what happens at the end later. And the mummified Monette, actually we find out that she's not really dead, that she's just mummified. All they had to do was return the crystal and the scepter to that Monette, and she comes back to life. We also get, like I said, we get an update where we know what happens with Savani. We find out that Bebop and Rocksteady, you know, they travel into the future, the whole time thing happens, but now we're back to the present, and they're just going on their merry way, you know, enjoying life. And I love how one of the dinosaurs is with them, and then we get a recap that Pepperoni actually stayed with the turtles, so I don't know if this will translate into the TMNT books after issue 60.
What's that? Is that the one?
That's the book. I'll explain that. Yeah.
Oh.
We find out that Savani's somewhere out there in one of the universes or one of the dimensions planning his revenge. We find out that Mutant April actually gets teleported back to the 1980s where she assumed the name Nightbug, and it looks like Fugitoid is working with her. And then that, with all the events that have happened with Bebop and Rocksteady, they actually created a Bopsteady universe where there's a bunch of Bebop and Rocksteadies. Wow. Now, this is an advertisement. Coming soon, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe. Issue number 1 comes out this August. I'm looking forward to it. And it's also once a month, so we get 2 Turtle books a month, plus if there's a miniseries. Another thing I'm hoping to get at some point is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shadow of the Past. It's a new board game. I believe it's by the same people that do
I don't understand
the
because
card
you have
games.
the monopoly of it.
This is a different game. It's a board game.
I know, but I'm just saying.
They even give you a chart of what one of the maps looks like. And they even give you the beginning
Wait,
of it.
one of the
rules.
maps? You mean there's more than one?
It looks like it's going to be like a HeroClix-esque
yeah, because that's the way I'm looking
type
at
of
it.
game.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this. I didn't even know this. They actually shared the page where Bebop and Rocksteady turned into the Rhino and the Warthog. I didn't know that. This was an issue. This was way back. I think it was like in the 10s. The issues. That's awesome. I didn't even realize that last page. And then of course they show you the big mural you make if you get the cover A's. This is the variant cover. I'm positive that tomorrow, once mail starts coming again, I did order cover A from Midtown. We'll be adding those comics that we get from Midtown this week into next week's haul on Comic Frontline. Finally, this week we've got Spider-Man issue number 5 with Miles Morales. So, I gotta say, I hate Miles' grandmother. I hate her so much. It really just, the more that she's in this book, the more I'm loving to want to slap this woman in the back of the head with a cricket bat. She's insistent that Miles is on drugs, and so she goes off and enlists the help of, ready for this?
Alright.
Jessica Drew, alias, to spy on Miles. While all along, Miles is the prisoner of Black Cat and Hammerhead, which they've already taken his mask off, and now they're trying to figure out who this new Spider-Man is, and they try to scan his fingerprints. They don't find him on any records, any birth certificates, nothing. Miles gets free. You want to know how? Read the book. Beats up Hammerhead, chases after Black Cat, who warns him, cross my path, and you're screwed. We also find out that Gold Balls is going to be his and Gank's roommate. He decides to move in, and he does tell Gank he was wrong for, outing his friend as Spider-Man, not to him because he won't tell, but he should be more careful with who he tells Miles' the secret to. And then we also find out something with Miles' dad. Again, if you want to know what's going on with Miles' dad and S.H.I.E.L.D., read this issue. And then the end, we get to see, like I said, Jessica Drew, who is spying on Miles and his friends because now she's gathering information for the grandmother, whom I hate. And I'm sure the father's pissed off, but the father actually ends up making a type of deal, but like I said, it involves S.H.I.E.L.D., it involves you reading this book. I feel like the book finally kind of is picking up a little bit of steam. I don't like the new attitude of Black Cat. I really don't. Ever since what happened with Doc Ock, Spidey, where he screwed Black Cat, he beat her up and left her for the police.
Spider-Man thing?
Yeah, and then she ended up hating everything Spider-Man. She even said, I hate this Spider-Man. And I love how Hammerhead's like, why? You don't even know him, really. And she's like, I don't know. I just hate him. And it's like, I don't like that. It was always fun having Black Cat as that person that was chasing after Spider-Man, even though she could never have Spider-Man.
Actually,
I don't like this new dark attitude.
In Silk, I forgot to mention, Black Cat does explain her origin story of how she was one time a hero and why she turned into a anti-villain and stuff like that.
I think
it does say about that.
I think that with Civil War and with status quos changing, one thing I would like undone is the promise or the deal that was made with Mephisto. Just because if you undo that deal, it brings you all the way back to the end of Civil War 1, which is ironic and perfect timing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From Civil War to Civil War, we had this version of Spider-Man. Then after Civil War 2, get back to the way things were. Aunt May is hardly in any Spider-Man books anymore. Let's be honest.
Well, she's with the new guy, Jay, right?
She's with J. Jonah Jameson's father. Yes, but I'm saying she's hardly in the Spider books anymore. It's like she's dead. Go back. Let the deal be null and void. Obviously, Aunt May will be dead. They'll bring her back somehow. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but at some point they'll bring Aunt May back. Put Mary Jane and Peter Parker back together.
Which it should be.
Restart Spider-Man from that point on. There'll be no Parker Industries. He'll be working for the Daily Bugle. J. Jonah Jameson will be running said Daily Bugle, and things will feel more normal for Spider-Man. You'll even have Black Cat back to her personality.
Didn't he work as a teacher too?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
But you'll have Black Cat back to her regular ways. You'll have Peter and Mary Jane. You'll have maybe Doc Ock will be regular Doc Ock again. Silk might still be in the picture, but obviously they'll take out all that sex stuff that happened in between.
Yeah.
And you'll still have everything that went on with Spider-Verse, because Spider-Verse, remember they showed the Spider-Man with the ring? So that Spider-Man will just be the Spider-Man that we go back to, where he's married to Mary Jane again. Remember he said, I can't tell the difference between us, and then you saw the wedding ring on his finger? That's it, you're going back to that Spider-Man, that's all. It wouldn't have any impact on any major stories that have happened.
I don't know where Marvel's going with any of their characters lately.
And I wish that I want the superhero community to know who Spider-Man is. I liked when Iron Man, Captain America, everybody knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
Well, now, since Superior, now they think...
No, before Superior, when they did One More Day, everybody forgot.
Yeah.
So I wish they would fix that, but that's just my little gripe. I'm not going to make a huge tangent about it or literally say every Spider-Man book sucks until they fix it. But I'm just saying it would be nice to, if they're going to do any type of, fix-up or whatnot, that's one of the things, and the X-Men, literally hard reboot.
I don't know where X-Men's
No,
going.
hard reboot. Just a hard reboot. Go all the way back to the
It's just
beginning.
Like, really?
Yeah, just go all the way back to. At this point, go all the way back to the beginning. There's no way to go forward. You got to go backwards. You got to start from the beginning, fresh.
No,
and
they,
move
they, they,
forward.
they just keep jumping times of meaning past the future, future to present. But
No.
where you going?
Yeah, they need to redo the whole thing again. They have to start over. There's no way of going back.
I think
They
after
need to-
Avengers versus X-Men is where they should, because right at that point, that's when things start to mess up. After Avengers versus X-Men.
Really, I thought it was during Schism. And
No,
before
no,
that
no, no,
even.
no, no, no. Because after that, that's when things started to get a little bit messy.
Either way, what needs to be done is they need to just hard reboot the X-Men, soft fix up Spider-Man, and maybe fix up a few other things in the Marvel universe.
I don't know. We'll
That's
see
just
what
our mini
happens.
rant. And with that, that's it for this review, guys. Not even
Yep.
30 minutes. How long was it? 30?
35-ish.
35 is finished. Wow. Okay, so guys, one more episode. Next week is the last episode. We hit 349, and then we go over to Comic Frontline for episode 350. We are working on an idea for the weekend for episode 350. We might have a little celebration, not like something major like when we hit 400 or when we hit any of the other hundreds, but like a moving party or something. You know, we'll figure something special out for 350. I'm sure something medium, not
Yeah, it's
something
halfway
over the
point to
top.
400. Why
It
not?
is the halfway point to 400 as well.
So it's like every year, you know, we get to halfway point, and then the next year after that, we get to 100.
Right.
The 100th.
Right,
one.
and actually, a year from when we're celebrating the 350th. 2 weeks later is when we'll be hitting 400 next year. So
Right. So,
technically, we're literally celebrating a year.
hey, party
and 2
time
months in-
anytime.
2 weeks
I
in
mean,
advance.
that's cool for me.
So till then, guys, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to comment below your thoughts on any of the comics that came out this week, whether we discussed it, we didn't discuss it, whether you agree with us, you disagree with us. We love to hear from you guys. And until then, guys, next week, 349. And yeah, so take care, everybody. Keep reading, keep collecting, and we'll see you guys really soon in the next video.
Hey, everybody.